Pragmata might be one of the best games I've ever played, at least in terms of this console generation, like the PS5 era. Heck, I'd even probably throw in the PS4 era as well. Pragmata is, oh, so special. Yeah, hi, it's a rambling video where I want to talk about a game that I recently just finished. By recently, I mean literally last night. I rolled credits. I'm working on the end game now, working on 100%, but God, I finished it and I had so many emotions going through me. First and foremost, I want to say that Pragmata is really good. Like, it's really good. Like, it's super good. It is so good. I cannot stress about how good it is. Pragmata was a game that I was always kind of interested in when it was first announced. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was back in like 2021 or so, maybe even 2022, where they first showed off like that cool little trailer about them. Like, you had like the spaceman and the little girl in the big city, and we were like, whoa, what's Pragmata? Capcom? What the hell is this? And then like for years they went silent. And then all of a sudden Pragmata starts coming back, and it's like, oh shit, they didn't forget. This isn't a dead IP. We're finally here. It's finally coming. We had a release date, or at least a release window, and I think they expanded it again, where like an apology letter at the end. If I remember correctly, that trailer was nuts. And then lo and behold, at some point in 2025, I believe around, I think it was actually Summer Games Fest, where they showed off the final like announcement trailer back when it was coming out. We had a year, we had basically a date, if I'm not mistaken, and the game was being playable. Like, they had demos for people to go and try out. And I remember all the demos coming out and people just being like, dude, this game is something else. Like, it's something we've never like really seen before in terms of like what the gameplay was. And that already intrigued me, alongside all the trailers already that like was selling me pretty hard on the game. It looked like a good time. Cut to April of probably around last week when I'm recording this. April 17th, I believe it was, is when Pragmata released. And I bought the game, I preloaded it and everything a couple of days beforehand with the deluxe edition because I was so excited. And then basically through the weekend and through the week, I spent all of my free time playing Pragmata, and oh, dude, I need to gush about this game. It's so damn good. Alright, so first off, I actually want to talk about the story, because I think the story is actually really good. The story itself is very contained. It is very within its world, and, you know, there's a lot of stuff that happens, but it's a lot more of the character writing, which I will get into a little bit later, that helps you kind of get through the journey that you're going on. So, for those of you who don't know, you play as Hugh, a space researcher heading to a base called Edis. It's basically a big-ass, like, base on the moon that we're currently going to because of a few, like, they're basically going to clean up a lot of messes that's happening on Edis. And before you know it, a whole bunch of stuff starts to go haywire. There's a huge earthquake, things start collapsing, people start dying, and Hugh wakes up and there's this small girl named Diana who comes to his aid. He was injured, she helps him, you know, get back up, and then all of a sudden, all the machines and basically all of the AI within the lunar base are starting to attack Hugh, and there's like a bunch of things that go down. Hugh and Diana are basically going through this entire lunar base to try and find a way home. He wants to go back to Earth because shit's going bad and he needs to tell people what happened. They're trying to find a communication tower. They're able to call back to get some help. A whole bunch of stuff that happens. Again, I don't want to go into the story too much because I think everyone should play Pragmata on their own, and you really should see the journey as it goes through, but that's kind of the base of what's going on. You're going through this whole moon system to try to get back home. That is the bare minimum of what the plot is that I could talk about, that I don't want to spoil too much on. And as you're going through, Hugh and Diana, I gotta say, have probably gotta be one of the coolest, like, or at least the most fun video game duo, like, of recent times, because it is so nice and refreshing to see dialogue and back and forth and just overall synergy with two characters that you're basically playing for the next 10 to 15 hours, depending how long it takes you to get through the story. The game is quite big. There's a whole lot. The character writing for both Hugh and Diana, I think, is some of the best parts of Pragmata. Mainly because, you know, typically with a lot of games that have like a father-daughter scenario, or like, you know, gruff old man who now has a young one that he needs to look out for. I think of stories like Last of Us. There are always a certain pattern, even like within TV and film and books and any media that you could probably think of. There's always like now the guy knows what it's like to have a daughter, and, you know, your typical stuff. But I think what makes Hugh and Diana's synergy work so well is that they're a lot more friends than they are like father-daughter, I feel like. At least that's how I felt playing through the game. There are obviously those moments within it, but a lot of the times they're just kind of talking to each other, just like person to person. Hugh's like giving Diana all this like cool human advice or like experience or like what humans do, and Diana's always like questioning things, as she does, like as any child does. But a lot of their quips and a lot of their talks that they have are a lot more like one-on-one. It's them being real with each other. There are a lot of moments in this game where Hugh is very human. He starts talking about like his past, what it was like back on Earth, like how he grew up, how he got in trouble, how he got into space research and stuff like that. And it's a lot more of like him being human, which I know sounds weird, but like he gets to emote a lot. He gets to like talk about emotions, and he gets to always talk about like how he went through certain things in his life and how certain things were, like what he was feeling at those times and how important some moments are in his life to him. And I think that's always really good to see, because we don't really get that a whole lot, in my opinion, at least in games like around this genre, at least of the ones that I play. Like having Hugh be a very humanizing person, especially as like someone who's like 40 years old, is kind of nice. Like seeing this 40-year-old man still be humble and still be like down to earth and coming to terms with a lot of the emotions that he's dealt with, and now passing that along to this child that he randomly picked up on a space station, is very nice. And I think Diana kind of falls into that as well, where she's not like a kid. I think, like, if I remember correctly, reading somewhere, she's like 11 or so, like that's the age group that she's around. I think it fits pretty well, because she's obviously still learning stuff. She, as we find out, is an android. Like, she's a Pragmata. That's what she is. She's one that is very curious about things. She is one that always asks you a bunch of different stuff. And how does this thing work? Well, what are humans like? What's the sea like? What is Earth like? And always pondering these certain things, but always kind of knowing like when to kind of step back and make sure she's, I hate to say this phrase, but she's locked in and she knows the things that are happening are very serious and she has to take care of them, while still being like that little child nature, letting it be free every now and then. And I think that's just like super sweet, and I love the dynamic between those two. Like throughout the entire game, I don't think there was a moment where those two were speaking that I wasn't like interested in, because it's all dialogue. It's all mainly through dialogue, and it's wonderful. It's when you're in action, when you're in those calm, sober moments within, oh my god, the station. I almost forgot its name. Any time those two are just like talking to each other or just hanging out in the environment is always a good time. And I think the game does a really good job as well as making sure you get those moments when they're important. There are a lot of moments in the game where there are very expansive places to like explore, and there's not always combat. A lot of it is like platforming, a lot of it is puzzle solving, and a lot of it is just random exploration that you have to do. And they always save the dialogue pieces for those moments, and I think that's really, really smart. Like, oh man, it's barely broken up by dialogue, like battle dialogue or anything. There were like a handful of moments I can think of, like 2 or 3 maybe, where like a piece of dialogue was happening and I just accidentally walked into a next scene because I went through the right door. But like, it's very rare that happened, which I think is super good. Like, I love that about this game, the fact that like it knows when to use its dialogue moments and how to use it effectively. Very good, Pragmata. Like, I'm big fan. And as I kind of mentioned, there are moments in this game where you get to sit back and relax, like places in the cradle where you start collecting these items called they're called like red earth memories, if I'm not mistaken. I call them REMs because like that's what the initials are, and I'm pretty sure that's what the game calls them too. And they're basically these little items you could pick up to show Diana like what Earth was kind of like. They're replicated in order to simulate what something was on Earth, like a basketball or a skateboard or the beach or sandcastles and stuff like that. It's those moments that like the game lets you just kind of like sit back, relax, talk to Diana or talk to anyone else within the cradle, and just explore and hear some of the stuff happening in the background, or just enjoy some music and stuff like that. I think this place existing and letting a lot of those dialogue places like take place there is very good, because having a hub area that's not very big, so you can interact with almost everything within a few steps and still have so much going on. Very good, especially when we get to the gameplay system of Pragmata, which I think is half the reason I really want to talk about this game, because oh man, the gameplay is super sick. So for those who don't know, Pragmata is a third-person shooter. You hold down L2 to aim, you press R2 to fire, and in this game, instead of just like cover-based shooting, you actually have like a whole like thruster mechanic of how you dodge and how you move across the area. Hugh is a very heavy-feeling person, which makes sense. We're on the moon, like gravity is a bit like odd, especially within the base. Like, it's not like full gravity, and even then, if it is, like the suit is pretty heavy, so you're gonna be moving slower. Luckily, the thrusters and stuff really really acts as a really fun dodge mechanic and really cool on like how you decide to position yourself within a battlefield. It's really cool, especially since a lot of the battles that take place, like a lot of skirmishes or a lot of ambushes that happen, are in these closed encapsulated rooms, but they give you just enough to maneuver around in that like you never feel trapped. You can feel overwhelmed, and I think that does happen a few times in this game, but you never feel like, oh, I have nowhere to go. Like, I think that is very important for this kind of game, because again, this is a game where you're constantly moving, you're constantly keeping an eye on all your targets, and of course you're keeping your eye on the hacking panel, which is Diana's whole point to this combat. You're probably seeing on screen now, but basically the way this game works is it is a third-person shooter, but you have a hacking panel to the right side of the screen, and basically what this is that this is a fun little mini game that you could do to basically open up the androids or the machines that you're going to be fighting and open up their weak points, so you're able to do a lot more stagger damage and damage overall. This is how you are mainly taking the gameplay of Pragmata to its fullest extent. Once you open up a bot, you're basically able to just do as much damage as you can, whatever limited weapons you do have. And oh man, this like every fight basically feels like a puzzle that you have to solve. It is so cool. And the game does a really good job of easing you into these combat scenarios. And even throughout the game, really, it's always good. Except for like, there's like a few fights I can think of where I was like, okay, this is a bit too much, but like, even then it's over once it's done and you never really feel that again. It's a good time, I promise. The game does a really good job of easing you into this sort of combat style too. The hacking panels start very easy and you don't really have a whole lot to look at. You start pretty simplistic, the grids aren't as big, and the rollouts you're fighting are, they can't be tough, but you can understand their movements and their patterns very easily, which is very important. A lot of the bots that you'll be fighting are basically like higher tier levels as you go through the game, so you fight your standard one, then you fight like a more powerful one, where they keep the same basic attack mechanics, but their movement can be a little bit more different, or sometimes like they're a bit faster, or they have a brand new move that you haven't seen yet, but you're still like somewhat familiar with them, that like you kind of know how to deal with them. You just have to make sure like, okay, this one's different, I need to see what's going to be done new, and then you're basically ready for whenever you fight them again. And of course, like this all goes with the movement as well. Like you have to be locking onto the enemy that you want to hit in order to be able to do the hacking panel, which very luckily this game does let you like dodge out of the way and then relock and then like re-aim back onto that enemy to continue the hacking panel. The only way it'll reset is that if you get hit while you're hacking something, which I think is a fair like penalty. You were like too greedy to try to finish that panel, so now you gotta redo it. I think it's a interesting way to like keep the player on their toes and to make sure to tell them like, hey, you don't have to constantly keep doing this. You can back off, get out of the way of danger, and still take your shot. Like, you're fine, don't worry. Not to mention all like the different hacking nodes that you can get too. There's a bunch of like, I'm basically gonna call them like debuffs that you can get to apply to an enemy that you're locking onto, and this can do many things, from weakening their defenses to multi-targeting the hacking process to hit other bots, to like making them dizzy, to making them confused, to even like healing you. There's one you get later on that's like basically if you hack with that panel, you start to regain a little bit of health. There's a lot that you get to mix around with, and it's so fun to like always see like, oh, I'm running out, but there's one in the field over there, I can go pick it up real quick and add it to this enemy that I'm fighting. I like having resources that are limited, but they matter within a fight, and they'll always try to give you at least 1 or 2 refills on something to help you in your fight. Now, of course, the game does have different weapon types as well. You start off with a pistol, later get like a tiny machine gun, but you also get like these big shotgun type weapons where it's a lot of impact, but you gotta wait for a slow recharge. You have your support ones, which is like a shield or a decoy that you can set on the field to make sure enemies get out of your way in case you need to heal or you need to set something up. You have your status weapons as well, like one that freezes the bots in place, or one that like pushes them to the ground, so you can either continue your hacking or like try to get the biggest rate that you can in order to defeat the enemy. All the weapons in this game, outside of like 2, were like some that I really enjoyed or couldn't really figure out, but most of them were like a lot of fun to pick up, and there were moments where I was like, I don't really want this one, I want to stick with the shotgun because I think I'll get more damage, but then I'll run into an encounter, lose, and be like, okay, well that didn't work, let me go pick up the other weapon, so now I can take care of this encounter a little bit better. The game also does allow you to build and customize these weapons as well. You can make them stronger, they have different effects, and you're able to equip a loadout before you start a mission or whenever you return back to a checkpoint from base. If you always find like an area pretty tough, you can head back, pick up the weapons that you think you need, and just head back in, and it's like nothing happened, except the fact that you probably died like I did, because I'm not very good at this game. Oh, and the bosses too. Oh, the boss fights are so fun. There's very few bosses in this game, but the one when they do hit you with one, oh man, it's a good time. God dang, this game is good. The level design as well, I don't really know how to talk about it because it's something you have to experience yourself, but like checkpoints never feel too far away from each other. There's like one mission where I think I was like, okay, I could really use a heal point right now, or like a checkpoint so I can get back and heal because there's a lot of enemies here. But for the most part, like, it was mainly because I was just lollygagging and fucking around, and I lost all my stuff, so now I got nothing to do. The places that you visit are all pretty cool in variety, and I think they do a pretty good job of keeping this one place that you're in have multiple places that never feel the same. Like, you're all in the same compound, like you're still in the same place, but every biome that you visit is different in its own. I think that helps kind of separate the game from reminding you that you are in space, you're on the moon. Like, we're not just gonna keep doing space station but again. No, instead you get city, you get planetarium, or not planetarium, like the woods and stuff. You get trees and shit. There's a lot of variety to have, and every location that you visit will always have something new for you to get or for you to discover. And there's even like Metroidvania aspects of this game where like you'll see something you can't interact with yet, and you're like, oh, I guess I gotta wait. And then you get that power up like 2 missions later, 2 stages later, and you're like, I guess I have to go back. Which again, this game does well because the game will tell you what you miss in every checkpoint, so you could just go back, reload back at any point, and go complete that level if you want. It's what I've been doing after. I'm gonna continue doing after recording this. Oh god, do I even talk about the music? The music is so good too. Oh my god, this game is so good. The music is so banging. It's very techno, very electronic, and very like, oh god, I really don't know how to describe it, but it does fit within the game very well. I think the game, honestly, surprisingly enough, kind of reminds me of Stellar Blade, which I know is an odd comparison, but what I mean is that I think Stellar Blade's music really worked well because they managed to incorporate both the battle themes and the world themes into one, where anytime it transitioned into a battle theme and then back into whatever level theme you're in, it always worked. It always gave it enough room for it to transition into, and I think Pragmata does that very well as well. Every time the battles kick in and like that big electronic stuff starts kicking in, you're like, oh, it's time to kick some ass. And then once the battle is over, it still lingers for a little bit, trying to give you like, oh shit, like did I miss something? Like, is there still another enemy here? But then it fades out and you're back into like the cool level theme, like the very nice calm atmospheric stuff going on. You're like, okay, thank god the battle is over, which I think does fit a fight very well. Yeah, everything is done, all the stuff on your screen is dead. You had that little bit of worry where you're like, oh, maybe there is something that I missed around a corner. Sometimes it does happen in this game too, and if the music stays, you know you got another fight coming in, or at least someone around the corner. It's very cool. Like, oh man, the music in this game is very good. I hope it's on like streaming services or something, because man, I really want to listen to it again. Most importantly though, I think the most important thing about Pragmata that I can really talk about is just how much of a fucking video game Pragmata is, which I know is very weird to say, but like, it's a video game, man. I think you've probably seen a lot of people compare Pragmata to something that would have released like back in the 360 era or the PS2 era. I think that is very correct. PlayStation 2 especially. This is a game that requires you to play through it, have a good time, and you can end it there. You don't have to do anything after the story is over. You can easily call it there, say you like the game, and you can move on to the next one. Or you can go back and do all the extra stuff. There's still more you can do. You can go complete the game, you can level up your stats, you can get all this stuff updated. It's all up to you, bud. Do you want to do it? I do, because that game was rad as hell and I want to play it. You can easily call it there. That's sick. That's really cool. It's very rare, I think, for a video game to come out nowadays where, God, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, there are so many games that I played last year and years before where, yeah, they're good and they're really great. Some of them are fantastic and have probably become some of my favorite games of all time. But sometimes you play a game and you're like, it could have been over 10 hours ago. Or, well, that's it. I could have hoped there was more. And Pragmata doesn't do that. It is a video game. It is a game that I can stop playing if I wanted to, but I want to go back because everything it introduced was so much fun and so exciting, and they reward me for it, which is, again, very rare nowadays, that I want to go back and do it. I want to complete everything. I haven't felt that since, like, Expedition 33. Like, that was a game I chose to go back, play again, and 100% it. Like, get all the achievements, which I haven't done in a very long time, like, probably since the Xbox 360 era. And yeah, like, I don't know, man. Pragmata just, it feels like the video game, the video games. Like, it's perfect. It's got, like, so much stuff for you to do. And it's a game that came out, breaks 1 million in 2 days. It's a 15-hour experience at most, like, for just the story, with, like, probably 10 hour plus like post game shit that you get to do and like completion and all that. Plus, it was a game that came out, and it wasn't $99 fucking dollars in Canadian. It was a $79.99 game. That is a fucking rarity nowadays. Like, holy shit. Granted, I paid a bit more because I got the deluxe edition, but like, still, that's crazy. All of this, and like everyone who's played it has been saying how perfect it is, and I have to agree. It's so good. I'm just so happy to see like video games that are video games again. Yeah, I don't know, man. I really needed to talk about Pragmata because I think like this is a game that I'm just never gonna, at least for the near future, never stop thinking about. Like for real. It was so good. It's such a good, the dialogue, the writing, the music, the gameplay, especially the way you play it, the level design, everything about it was just so damn good. And it's so good to see like a video game be a fucking video game again, man. Like holy, it's been a hot ass minute since we've just gotten a goddamn video game. It was just like, here's a sick idea that we got. Here's a brand new IP. We're taking a risk on it. Here you go. Enjoy it if you do. And man, did I. Like, oh man, there were so many moments in this game where I just like sat there and was like, dude, hell yeah, like, this is a video game. I think that's kind of the whole point of this ramble video, is that I just needed to talk about Pragmata. I just didn't know if I could put it in a script and take another 5 months to make a video. I just wanted to talk about it. I wanted to sit down and gush about a game that I just finished yesterday and that has been on my mind like all day. I was at work just like trying to work on the 100%. Like, it's that good, man. Go play it if you haven't already. I'm gonna try to keep all the footage and stuff spoiler free, and I'm gonna try to condense this 30-minute ramble into something that's cohesive. Wish me luck. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I might make more of this in the future. Mega Man Star Force video is coming soon. I'm working on it now, and I hope to get back into content very regularly. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this and you want to let me know, you just see other stuff like this, let me know. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that bullshit that you gotta do on the YouTube stuff. I'm gonna go play Pragmata now. Like, I'm literally just gonna boot it up right now and go play Pragmata. Go play Pragmata. It's good. Trust me. It's good. It's good. It's good. I have actually one thing left to say. It's very weird that the voice actor for Malos from Xenoblade 2 plays Hugh, because I just can't picture Malos being nice to a child. I don't know what it is, but it made me laugh like every single time. Alright, that's it. I'm gonna go play Pragmata. I'll see you later.